You have received a letter from a lawyer that you have come into possession of an estate and a large sum of money to accompany it. It seems to be from the will of a great aunt that you've never heard of before. In order to lay claim to the fortune, you must present yourself in person to a law office in Pittsburgh. Welcome to the first playtest of a brand new role-playing game for Campfire Club. This is a narrative storytelling game for you and a group of friends to gather around and tell any sorts of stories together. The only thing you need is 2 decks of cards and your imagination. One deck is divided between the players as close to evenly as possible, and the other is reserved for the fire tender who guides the game. After dealing out the player cards, you make characters. No stats or abilities, just a persona for the game. Next step is forging a bond with another character, stating a fact about how these 2 characters know each other with the person to your left. Taking a card at random from that player's hand, symbolizing your intertwined fates. I'll let the rest of the playtest explain the other ins and outs of the game. Please enjoy the first episode of Campfire Club, The Overgrown Estate.
Awesome. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your character and the connection that you have with other players at the table?
Sure. So, my character's name is John Smith, but he goes by Blake Wilson. He is an aspiring actor, an aspiring 45-year-old actor. He has been in dozens of commercials as an extra. His claim to fame is to have been the face in a commercial about a salad dressing that has now been since removed from the market because it gave people the shits. He really wants to be a Hollywood star, and he thinks that theater is for nerds and beneath him. Every now and again, when he needs to make, when money is tight, with his tail between his legs, he will go take part in commercials for local TVs, mattress shops, car dealerships, law offices of so and so. All the commercials that you would see at 3:00 in the morning. He even played horny guy in one of those 1-900 sex line commercials. He had no speaking parts, but he doesn't like to talk about that one specifically. And the person that I had made the connection with was Kevin's character. The 2 of us were in some sort of like C-lister party in California somewhere, and we just kind of like bonded over talking shit about better celebrities.
Excellent. Why don't we kick it over to Kevin to tell us a little bit about his character?
Hi, my character's name is George Pierce. He's a retired golfer. He was pretty good in the circuit, but he had a shoulder injury, which kind of took him out. And now he is a caddy for a lot of the younger people that have been coming up in the world in their golfing career. He's quite old, though. He's in his late 60s, and he kind of gets shit on a little bit from a lot of the younger generation, and how he's still just like a caddy doing a 20-something-year-old's job. But he's connected with our next player, Courtney's character, because they have an estranged relationship. He's an uncle that bonds were kind of severed a long time ago when his brother died. And they don't really have a connection, but they may discover something.
Something. All right, Courtney, take it away. Tell us a little bit about your character.
So my character is Erica Pierce, for relation, to the retired golfer, and she is a science teacher in her mid-30s. I guess the theme that seems to be with all the characters is pretty consistent with her, in that she's not exactly where she wants to be in life and settled for a teaching job as a science teacher. in the high school because her other opportunities fell through, and she did have aspirations of working for NASA or things like that. And she is connected with the next player, Katie's character, because her character is a former student of hers.
All right, and round us out, Katie. Tell us a little bit about your character.
My character is named Lynn Brock, and she breaks the mold of the rest of the group because she is not a failed anything. She is an Olympic gold medalist who is probably pretty set for a while because she can run really, really fast. And she is connected to Massimo's character, good old Blake Wilson, because they were in the same commercial. However, she is not shamed for it.
Excellent. In the same salad dressing commercial?
Salad dressing commercial, yes.
I love it. All right. Well, on that note, which of you drew the lucky dead relative? And what brings all of you together to be traveling with one another as a group on this mission? Or should we reframe it and say that you all received a letter? I think that might be easier.
I think I like that one more.
Wonderful.
But,
so you all,
but none of us know that everybody is showing up.
That everybody's going to be there. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so with that, you all receive documents from a law office, the law offices of Bentley and Carlin, based out of Uniontown, Pennsylvania. You receive tickets and arrangements for you to arrive within Pittsburgh, and a car will be there waiting for you. Check into the flight goes as normal from the many different locations throughout the United States that you set off from. And you all arrive on a somewhat brisk and cool fall morning in Pittsburgh. You get off your different flights. You find your way down to baggage claim and collect your things. And as you step out to the pickup area, you see signs next to a black car with your names on it. There's a sign that says Erica Pierce, a sign that says George Pierce, a sign with Len Brock, and John Smith. Afterwards, in parentheses, Blake Wilson.
Blake is fuming.
Fuming.
Absolutely livid.
George is going to look around and notice that the car that he was expecting to just take himself has 4 people staring at one another, kind of waiting for everybody to get in. And he just kind of looks and makes eye contact with Blake, and he says, "Oh, I remember you from that party a while back. Do you remember?"
I've been to a lot of parties.
Of course you have. Of course you have.
I want to say George.
That's exactly right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice to see you again. Your last name on the tip of my tongue. Piercing. Is it like?
It's written on that sign over there.
Yeah, the man with the plaque. Points at it.
Blake Wilson. Good to see you again.
You as well. I'm a little confused about why we're all here, though.
Wait, is that Olympic gold medalist Lynn Brock? Lynn! Hi, it's me, Blake!
I imagine Lynn shows up 2 minutes after everybody else because she gets distracted by snacks. She's like, ooh, food. So she shows up and she's chewing on something. Of course, you gotta, all that energy you burn through. She's eating a granola bar or something, and she comes and she sees this car and she's like, Why are there people in my car?
Sorry, ma'am.
And then she hears the enthusiastic greeting. She's like, "Oh no."
Ma'am, would you like assistance with your bags?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Man, it's me from the Cheddar Valley commercial. Remember me?
John, how are you?
Like, close. I can see you can get them confused.
Okay.
Oh, what an odd coincidence seeing two people from my past entering my car.
No, this is my car.
Interesting, but I see my name twice.
Miss Pierce?
So this whole time, Erica had been standing pretty quietly, not wanting to make a noise, until the attention was inevitably turned on her, and she sort of gives a very shy wave, and says, I think you'll find it's our car, it seems. Did we can't have all been going to the same place. Can we?
Maybe it's like an Uber share. I'm going to a law office in Pittsburgh.
As am I.
Single destination, ma'am. Steps forward and picks up your bags.
The plot thickens. And who are you, madam?
Oh, me? I'm Erica. Just Erica. And she gives a little look to George. Small smile that she can manage and says, "It's nice to see you, Uncle George."
Uncle George? Wait, that's you?
Been a while.
Seen you in ages. Well, I suppose we have some catching up to do then. And don't we? Let's go. Pitter patter and all that. And I'll go towards the car and get in the shotgun.
Yeah, the gentleman opens the doors for you and lets you in. It's an older Lincoln Continental, well maintained and well cared for, which means the back seat is very large. So there's certainly space for the three of you in the back as George settles into the front seat.
Blake tries very hard and fails not to be assigned the middle seat.
I was gonna say Lynn is absolutely not in the middle.
Like he runs ahead to go sit in the car, but one of the other two is already opened the door from the other side, and by the time he realizes that, the other one is up behind him, and so he's just kind of like,
Just got some bad fucking luck, this guy.
This guy. Lynn's got her phone off and is typing an email to whoever handles her affairs, like, "Excuse me, what just happened?"
Yeah, you fire off your email on your phone. The car fires up and pulls away from the airport, quickly heading away and into the sprawl of the city. The gentleman sets his phone up on the dash. He has one of the little holders there, has your destination marked off on it. You see it's the law offices in Pittsburgh. He begins cruising. He occasionally looks up into the rearview mirror and looks at you, George, who, you're sitting right in the middle where he would look. Excuse me, sir, can you duck, please?
You mean Blake?
Yeah, sorry, Blake. Yeah. Excuse me, sir, can you duck, please? Yes, thank you. To the left. I need to check my blind spot there. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
So it's very strange that it's a very, very strange coincidence that a lot of us are going to the same place. It'll be even stranger if we're going for the same reason.
Well, out with it then.
Well, I don't know about you, but things are looking up for good old Blake Wilson. An aunt of mine has passed away and bequeathed me a fortune. So I guess you can say I'm pretty much going to be a big deal pretty soon.
I think at that, Erica sort of, her bag was on her lap, or like a purse, and she opens it up and then she pulls out the letter and she hands it over to Blake to read.
Think we're related?
Well, I'm not sure. Maybe there's been a administrative error.
Lynn, did you get one like this as well?
Lynn does not have hers to pull out, but she leans over to take a peek at it. And she says, "Oh, somebody is so fired." Okay.
Are we related?
No.
Am I related to a gold medalist?
No,
That's
you are
amazing.
not. Absolutely not.
We got the same aunt.
Oh, I thought I recognized you. Olympic gold medalist Lynn Brock.
I get that a lot.
You did an amazing run in that 1200.
No,
I
thank you.
must say, that was a startling performance. Yes, my children talk about you frequently, look up to you, and hope to one day. They're not, I mean, they're only in 6th and 7th grade in track and field, but
Wonderful. If they work hard, then perhaps one day they'll have their own medals.
unfortunately their mother doesn't come from very athletic stock, so it's unlikely they'll get very far.
Unfortunate.
Just being honest.
Brutally honest, if I can say so myself. Well, it doesn't matter how good you can run. As soon as you hurt yourself, it's all downhill from there. And he starts adjusting the radio.
You say that, but I won that medal with a broken toe, so...
Oh, I'm sure it was only fractured.
Have you ever read a medical book?
No.
Didn't think so.
He's a golf legend, not a doctor.
Looks like we have a slight course correction. They just sent me a text of a new destination. It's only about 10 miles south of here in Uniontown.
Where are we going?
I apologize. It's about 50 miles south of here in Uniontown. Do apologize for that.
What's with the change of venue?
He pokes at his phone and opens up the text as he's kind of slowing down at a red light. Yes, it says here, James Bentley, the one who's arranged for your vehicle from the law offices, says that he had a client meeting run late in Uniontown, and that he will be meeting us there. Apparently there is some house there that you will be taking stewardship of, and he wished to show it to you himself before you signed over paperwork.
We could all be roommates. And related. Could be like a family gathering.
Lynn said just, shake.
Well, George, if you'd like to find a good station, then we have a few decent ones here. Turn on the music, turn it up, and I'll try and get you fine folks to Uniontown as swiftly as possible.
George doesn't respond, and the driver kind of probably looks over, and George is fast asleep.
Well then, we'll turn on my tunes. And he pokes his phone and hits a button, and the speakers come alive with it's some jungle electric music.
Those are two words you just threw together and thought we would buy it.
You made that up right now.
Yeah, what's it sound like?
It's very bass heavy EDM.
Yep.
And George, you are possibly racked with nightmares as you sleep.
Lynn is convinced that she is in a nightmare right now, so...
Yeah, it's this kind of a waking dream for all of you. As the car smoothly slides onto the interstate and begins heading south. You drive, taking in the beautiful landscape of Pennsylvania. As you go through rolling hills into forests further south that you go. Drive past several lakes and along a river. And eventually pull into the town of Uniontown. He slides past the main square through downtown and drives off on a side road through the trees. A winding roadway. A forest rising up in all directions around you. Drives about another 5-10 minutes before you pull to a slow stop before an iron gate that's been opened. It's about a 20-foot tall wrought iron, beautiful sculptural gate. And he begins to pull down a long driveway into the trees. Lynn is typing away actively on her phone.
like half the drive.
half the drive. And sure enough, you hit send as you get to Uniontown. And as this car begins to drive out and down this winding forest road, your signal goes from 4 bars to 3 to 2 to no signal. As you pull past the gates, you hear the crunch of gravel beneath your tires as the car drives along the winding drive, coming to a Victorian-style house sitting on a hill. The shrubbery around it has become somewhat overgrown. Trees are grown in about it, and vines have started to creep along the walls. There's a concrete porch on the front with a long sloping canopy, a fountain in the center of the driveway, and this roundabout. There's another newer Buick that's pulled to a stop with a man leaning against it, wearing cowboy boots and a large hat. Looks like he's poking at his phone and grumbling to himself as your car slides in behind it to a stop.
Wow. This place looks like it could be the star of the next Netflix horror special.
Like one of those Hill House or whatever they're called.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking. See, you get it. That's exactly. Look at it. Just like you can just see like a slow close up of the house, it being the main character's evil haunted house.
Must agree. This place is disturbing. Excuse me, George. Sir.
I think he died.
Please wake up.
You gotta shake him and very good then, over here.
Yes, you've arrived. Arrived at your own destination?
Oh, this is a god-awful place, isn't it?
It's certainly picturesque, I suppose.
Yeah, so is the scream.
Well, he turns the car off, steps out, and pops open the back doors for everyone so we can step out of the vehicle.
George will exit and stretch. Work out the kink in his neck.
Blake happy to unfold himself in that position.
Lynn hops out, though her face suggests that she regrets getting into the car, let alone out of it now.
I think Erica gets out and just sort of stares at the house with a lot of interest. It's a fascinating structure, I guess.
Yeah, it's this 2-story Victorian-style house. It's got 2 oddly shaped rooms or wings to the east and west of it. One of them is surrounded with what looks like stained glass windows. The other side is windowless. These large French doors on the front that open in, and upstairs there are several windows along the second story. Could well have been a very beautiful home. May well still be inside, even if it needs a little bit of love.
In today's market, this could easily be like 3 to 5 mil, easily. Like, we could flip it and be riding high. Instant millionaires, everyone.
What makes you assume that the house is going to all of us?
You make a good point. If it goes to me, I'll probably sell it.
Well, I say, excuse me. I'm happy to see that you've all arrived safely.
There seems to be some kind of mix-up. If you could get this squared away.
Oh, what do you mean, Miss Brock? I do apologize. I'm James Bentley, the law offices of Bentley and Carlin.
There are 4 of us here that I don't think all had the same aunt die and leave us this house.
I'm afraid those were the instructions that we had, that there were the 4 of you. I apologize if I'm surprised if there was any confusion over this, that we did not receive any correspondence ahead of time.
Because I didn't know there was a problem until I got in a car with 3 other people.
Hey, it wasn't so bad.
Your head's still not on straight.
Well, why don't you step on inside with me? We'll walk through the paperwork we have here. Our law offices are acting as the executor of the estate. I'm sure everything is in order. We had 4 beneficiaries that she had outlined in her accounts, including the property here, the household. I was doing some business here in Uniontown. I do apologize for moving where our meeting was going to happen, but I didn't want you folks to have to wait any extra time than necessary.
Time is it?
It's about 1:00 in the afternoon now.
Okay.
Pretty early still. Well, if you'll follow me.
Let's go.
Wonderful.
Summertime, winter, fall?
It is the fall, so it's actually a fairly cool, crisp day. There's a bit of wind. Kind of has that feeling like there might be bad weather on the way, but it's still early afternoon, and it's still fairly nice out.
Brown leaves on the ground.
How very ominous.
Exactly. Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Bad weather on the way, he says.
Bad weather on the way. Crisp smell in the air.
Mhm.
That crackle at the back of your neck. As James takes the concrete steps 2 at a time, fishes in his pocket for keys, looking back at all of you. So everything at this point has been signed off and handed over just to handle. So there are no other accounts that we have to deal with or anything aside from getting some signatures from you and walking through what you have now become entitled to.
Right.
I take it none of you were close with Miss Agatha. He pops the key into the front door and opens it.
Arrow on to Agatha.
I'm afraid not. First I'm hearing her name, to be honest.
Well, actually, I was very fond of Agatha. So, of course, this should belong to me, seeing as I am most familiar with her.
I think Erica shoots her uncle a look, and everyone else, I think, as if she's perhaps the only honest one among them. Or at least seeing what they're playing at, but refusing to play that exact game.
And he'll start heading up towards the stairs, grabbing a handrail, probably shaking it to test to see if its stability.
It seems very sturdy. This house, at least when it was built, was built very well. As he leads you into the front entryway. Inside of this front entry, there's a small sitting bench over to the left. There are 3 doors leading off of it. One door has been popped open, leading to a stairwell heading up. The other 2 doors leading to the right and left are closed. And there's a beautiful stained glass window right before you. That's inside, like a feature piece.
What's is it just abstract, or is there a picture of something in that stained glass?
In the stained glass, it is looks like it's a town. There's little bits of, looks like it's a farm, some kind of farmstead, fields that are being worked, several small houses on it, and then the sun in the background with rays coming out of it. Very pretty for an inside decoration. Unfortunately, to go along with this kind of well-crafted entry in the stained glass, there's also a foul smell that comes from deeper in the home. It smells like sour garbage, rotting meat. And James quickly pulls out a handkerchief and covers his nose. He goes, oh dear me, that's awful.
Is this your first time entering the house? She asks the lawyer.
It's been about 6 months since we came through and did a walkthrough, and
So that smell's developed in the 6 months?
yes, it has. Let's see.
They take the trash out.
That's what I'm wondering if that is the case. I think if I remember right, the kitchen is around this way. He opens the door to the left and makes his way, leading you into a dining room. There's a table with 2 benches and chairs on either end. pops open another door leading down a short hallway and eventually into a kitchen at the back of the home. There's several windows along the kitchen that look out onto a back porch, a screened-in back porch with a large iron tub, several garden beds that have now become overgrown inside of this greenhouse. And indeed, the smell seems to emanate from this room.
Lynn starts opening windows in this kitchen as she wills herself to no longer need to breathe.
Oh,
Probably hold her breath for a minute.
I think Erica is pretty determined to figure out what the smell is specifically.
He begins opening cupboards along with you, Erica. And you get there first.
Oh no.
You pop open the cupboard, kind of this little offside cupboard near the sink, and please, for me, play your first card of the game.
Ooh. This is exciting.
you get to choose which one you want to play, right?
Yes. So
Yeah.
the way that this works is when a challenge is put before you, or something unsettling may happen, you are offered the opportunity to play a card. You, as the campers, get to choose a card from your hand to play. I, as the fire tender, in response to the card that you play, just pull the top off my deck and play it for everybody. Whoever's card is higher wins narrative control of what they find, or how that scene plays forward, what may happen there. And then if we tie, everyone can pitch a card in to help, to give you the edge, so that way you control. If you have a lower result, you can ask for help. You can say, help me, and someone else may come to your aid. Someone else that's in that scene can put themselves in there, and kind of ease things along your narrative control point.
Yeah, one of the important parts is that if it is a tie, everybody has to spend a card in order for it to be a success.
It's a success for you. That is correct.
Not just like not people may. Everybody has to, or if people aren't willing to, then it's a failure.
Then it's fire tender. Yeah.
I see.
Importantly, your cards, when you have run out of cards, your character comes to an end as well. That is the...
And I presume as well there are probably going to be some challenges that are going to be far more important than others that you may wish to want to win.
That's reasonable.
So perhaps opening a cupboard may warrant a low card for now, just because it doesn't seem too dire of a situation.
You say that now.
I say that now until something comes and mauls my face and I die. But so I'm going to play a card. Is it aces high as well?
Aces high, yes.
Okay.
There we go. A 2. So a 2 of spades. And mine, a queen of diamonds.
Oof.
Something bad's about to happen to you.
Assuming, as you begin to pull open the cupboard, you hear something rattle from inside of it and shake. Do you ask for help?
Well, long way to go.
That's a long way to go.
A long way to go, yeah.
Mechanically speaking, can more than one person help?
No.
Somebody else has to burn at least a card that will get her above queen, or they have
jack.
to play something above queen.
Yeah. That's correct.
Okay.
A jack.
I do not ask for help.
You hear the rattle and the push, and Erica, you stumble backwards as you see 2 red eyes, and you think you hear a hissing sound, something leaping out at you. For everyone else in the room, you see Erica open up this cupboard and then spill backwards along with the gross garbage bag that was inside that now spills out, and that rotten smell fills the room.
Oh,
As the bag's contents that have become somewhat liquefied as they've been in here now spill out onto the floor, and Erica finds herself sitting in the midst of the mess. It's rotten vegetable matter become liquefied, along with the fragments of several medium and small-sized animals' carcasses.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Ugh.
Organic.
My lord.
Organic and
I
moist.
don't think I'm ever going vegan.
I think Erica can't even open her mouth because she's too scared to.
Mm-hmm.
Like
You get that
very
smell
tight.
in your mouth.
Yeah, very tight, like lips forced together to the point that her teeth are just kind of like involved. And in shock almost. As she's sort of covered in this organic sludge.
Oh my. Oh, that is foul. Oh, here, Erica, here. And James steps over and offers you a hand up.
She makes a slight whimpering noise as she's very rigid, but she does accept help.
Are you all right?
Sort of gets to her feet. Mm.
That's foul. I mean, it's Cheddar Valley all over again.
I don't know what that means.
Way worse. Linda's opening windows as fast as she can, and she regrets opening her mouth to speak as she goes back to holding her breath.
Yeah, you pop open, you pull open the windows onto the back porch, and you open up the back door onto it. You let the air, the breeze come through. And blissfully, it cuts it just enough. As James was, I'm sorry. I'll tell you what, we had a crew do a walkthrough when we took over ownership. I walked through myself. I had no idea this was here. I'm very sorry for that. We'll take care of hiring a cleanup crew to come through and fully disinfect and clean this for you. I am truly ashamed. He turns on the water faucet, and you hear the whine as the pipes rattle and shake before finally brown water begins to spew out of the spigot.
You're making it worse.
just give it a moment. Some of these old pipes, you gotta let the rust wash out of them.
I think she just looks with defeat at the brown water running with the sort of like position of someone who doesn't really want to move too much lest it somehow make it worse, even though that's impossible. But you never know. And she just stares at the water, just waiting for it to run clear first.
It never quite gets to clear after a few minutes, but it's less red. Eventually it goes, I'm afraid that's probably the best we're gonna get for now. And he hands you his handkerchief. Here you go. Yeah.
Starts to clean herself as best she can.
So, seeing this, Blake is wearing he's wearing a white button-down shirt, and on top of it, he's wearing a vest, but no coat. He just like goes to the other room, takes off his shirt, puts on the vest. So he's just wearing a vest with no shirt underneath, and offers his shirt to Erica. Like, after all, we may be related, we may be family, so take.
I think it's the first time back. It's the first time she's actually cracked a smile at the image of this man who's just taken literally the shirt off his back, but is in a vest now. And she nods and sort of takes it with clean enough hands.
There's a restroom just down the hall. It was the first door we passed on the right. If you'd like to go clean up a bit more in there. There's no sink, but there is a mirror and a toilet.
Thank you. And she looks at Blake again and says thanks.
He just nods.
He leads you all back to the dining room, pulls out his briefcase, and begins leafing through it. All right, here looks like Miss Agatha Adams had settled you, or the four of you, as her beneficiaries of her household here that she called the Wallace House. And yes, I do believe this is the four of you, right? Can you please take a look at these? And he slides documents, matching documents before each of you that has your name, your current address, your social security number on it, phone numbers which might be current or might be just slightly out of date. Please let me know if this information is accurate. If there's been some mix-up, I am most apologetic.
No, that's me, all right.
Yeah, it looks like everything's in order.
Yeah. Looks good. It's weirdly.
Excellent. Well, it does say here she had established a trust for the Wallace House. That's for the building we're in here. It's actually a historical house. And then a separate trust entity that is meant to fund her beneficiaries, who are supposed to be helping to manage that Wallace House fund as well. The way that we were able to structure her finances in a way that would prevent, Uncle Sam taking a larger slice of the pie than perhaps he's entitled to, and putting a little bit more money into her heir's hands.
I like the sound of that.
She very clearly designates the four of you. The Wallace House Fund had just slightly over $4 million left in it for the maintenance and upkeep of the household itself. And then there is a separate trust entity for the four of you to help fund your lifestyles and needs that might be in concert with that. And currently, as of 2 weeks ago, that account holds $47 million.
Damn!
Oh. Well, I can finally retire.
Lovely, lovely Aunt Agatha. A saint, that woman.
What is it that Agatha did exactly?
It's a good question. Let's take a look here. Her husband was an heir of the Adams family, which based out of... you just give a slight look at that. Who apparently had ties here to the Uniontown area itself. She herself does not have any kind of profession listed except for she has a club. She was a member of the Rotary Club here in town, and she was a member of the Historical Society of the Pennsylvania Union. She, I haven't shown you the rooms yet, but two of the rooms here have been set up as a bit of a museum, if you will. There's display cases with some history of the household and Civil War artifacts, things like that she established. She built quite the timeline of the previous owners of this house.
So this is old family money.
Yes. Yeah, that would be my understanding. People around here are a little bit quiet sometimes on where their finances come from, particularly if they're older families that may have initially come from south of the Mason-Dixon line.
Indeed.
Well, I always fancied myself somewhat of a Gomez. I look at George. Come on, Uncle Fester. Let's check out this place.
Sure, I'd love to give you a tour. Everyone else? Bit of a quick trip around the house down here and upstairs.
Let's wear down some shoe leather.
What did you say?
Let's go.
Yeah, he leads you all back into the entry again. Points upstairs. We'll head up there in just a moment. Takes you into the eastern hall, and then into a sitting room. Inside of the sitting room, there is a table, several comfortable chairs, a sofa, and an unlit fireplace. Perhaps strangely, there are no windows from this room. It's dark, but there's wood paneling up the first half of the wall, and the second half looks like it's finished in
Brick?
some kind of no, not brick. Actually, it looks like it's finished in the inside wall, like it's finished in fabric, like a very old, nice wallpaper of some kind. This red velveteen material that reaches the rest of the way up. This is a sitting room, very nice. She has quite a collection of books. Looks like that she put together over the years. Quite a bit of it on the history of Uniontown, Pennsylvania itself, and a few things that she put together on the house. And he turns and heads back down the hall. The door at the end of the hallway there leads back into the kitchen. This area here should convert it into a bit of a bar. Around this room, this long hall, there are several display cases that are filled with little placards and items from around the area. Looks like there are several arrowheads, belt buckles, pictures of the town from the turn of the century, little bits of paraphernalia from the household and from the area surrounding it. There's a lot to go through, and you may have time to do that. But for now, you look back down on the floor. It's tiled along the middle. There's a bar off to the left that is well stocked.
I take a look at the bar. I look back at the rest of the group and I say, well, should we drink it for the old girl? After all, she's done so much for us.
Very well. Pour me a finger or two.
Lying down or standing up?
I'll take mine standing up. How dare you?
I open a bottle of what looks expensive.
There's a 30-year bottle of Balvenie, which you know is you recognize the name offhandedly as being expensive. You've seen it in your expensive bars with people who you can't afford to drink with.
Right.
Yeah.
I pour drinks for everybody, whether or not they asked for them, and then just kind of start handing out glasses.
To dear Aunt Agatha. Clinks her glass against
Agatha.
whoever.
To Aunt Agatha. He raises his glass, takes a bit of a drink, and his pocket buzzes. Just a moment, please. I'll be right back. Agatha takes another sip as he steps out into the hall.
Lynn looks at her own phone to see if she has reception now.
You do not. You still don't. Must be the AT&T versus
Fascinating.
T-Mobile versus Sprint.
Hmm. This is awfully sus. She has a look on her face like,
That scotch though is very good.
You know what to say. If it's too good to be true, you got lucky.
It is?
No, you got lucky.
I don't believe in luck.
It's more akin to Occam's razor, really, if that the simplest explanation is the most likely one. But I still am failing to see a simple explanation for all of this.
And if we're throwing out sayings, then if Blake didn't here have bad luck, then he'd have no luck at all.
That would probably be better, don't you think?
Well, it's all turned around now. Everything is coming up Blake.
Yeah, we'll see about that, old chap.
Hey, Blake, can you please play a card for me?
Sure. Is there any context to that, or just?
Yeah, you're looking. I apologize. Let me give you some. Let me give you context. That's a great point. You just finished your drink. Maybe a little faster than you'd initially intended. And you're holding the bottle, and looking around at everybody else. And maybe you don't need to play a card as you lift that bottle up and just kind of feel the need to pour again.
Sure.
You just pour again.
We getting lit early.
I bring the bottle closer to the first person that's closest to me, And I get and I do the I do the universal sign of like, pouring you some more? Pour.
Pour. Yep.
Anyone else need a topper?
I'm quite alright for now, thank you. As he just sips.
I think Erica didn't finish her drink quite the way through. There's enough at the bottom that she's holding vaguely under her face as if she's trying to waft the alcohol fumes into her face to just try and like get over the lingering vague smell.
That lingering putrid trash.
Yeah, she'd rather waft chemicals into her nostrils at this point.
I look behind the bar and look for a bottle of seltzer.
There is a bottle of seltzer.
Like the old style with the...
Like the old style with the crystal decanter.
Hey, Erica, maybe this will help you.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only water we've seen so far.
Don't you have a change of clothes in your suitcase?
We're taking a tour, but I do. It's just inconvenient currently, and...
Well, tour guide is out for the moment. If you like smelling like sludge, then maybe you shouldn't. Never mind. Forget I brought it up.
Can't imagine why you're estranged.
Yes, it perhaps will remain that way, but that remains to be seen.
I think Erica just looks mortified.
Perhaps it will remain that way.
Awkward.
Like, genuinely, I think she's just kind of a little unsure what to do with that series of remarks.
Lynn with her drink very much awkward.
I walk closer to Lynn, and I'm like, yeah, that family drama's crazy.
That's your family, remember?
Yours too.
Mm-mm.
I mean, that's like more family.
Right.
More than 1 degree of separation.
Yeah, it's like we're at least 2 degrees. Easy. Maybe 5.
I might be okay with 5.
You look at the bottle is a lot lighter than it was when you started. You think you probably have enough for one more stiff drink from it if you'd like.
I think. Well, how buzzed is Blake feeling right now?
Oh, very.
He's gonna stop. He's like, anyone else want to finish this? Because it's gonna be a shame for it to go to waste. George, you look like the kind of guy that never said no to a bottle of whiskey.
Maybe in my youth, but I'm
Nonsense.
Pushing 70, so
70 is the new 30.
How about
God,
you
I
just
hope I die when I'm 25.
leave it on the counter and maybe somebody will get to it.
I put it on the counter. Man, that stuff is wrong.
George is going to look around at the pictures and things in the display cases on the walls.
Yeah, as you begin looking through things, you actually see that there is a series of plaques that have been put up to kind of walk you through the history of the house itself, along with, like I said, the little artifacts here and there. The basic story: this house was built as a summer home, and construction was completed in 1863 for a plantation and slave owner from Montgomery, Alabama, by the name of George Wallace. It turned out that his wife, Maria Adams Wallace, a daughter to Mexican immigrants and a Methodist Episcopalian, was a secret abolitionist and had plans to use the summer home as a safe location along the Underground Railroad. 1 short year later, the American Civil War broke out, and the Union Army took direct control of the home as a base of operations. George Wallace died during the war in Montgomery, and his widow continued to work hand in hand with abolitionists in the post-war United States. In 1875, a man by the name of Arthur McReady moved into the home with the widow Wallace and established a surgeon-barber-dentist operation. It is rumored that Mr. McReady was involved in the occult and fancied himself an alchemist and able to commune with spirits through seance.
Ooh.
Widow Wallace died due to an accident in 1883 at the age of 50, leaving the home and all her holdings to Mr. McReady.
That sounds like foul play.
Oh, look at here. Says it was originally owned by a George, so I guess it's supposed to be in my name.
Uh-huh. George didn't seem like a good guy, though.
Yes, well, he's gone now.
Or is he?
Funny. Very funny. I think Erica's sort of looking around too. Is there any trace of anything to do with Agatha specifically?
Yeah, there's mention of the last homeowner. It's like kind of the last little panel that's up. McReady continued to dabble in the occult and run a very successful surgical dentistry office until his own death in 1938, when he died at the advanced age of 105. With no immediate heirs or creditors and World War II just beginning, the house fell into disuse and sat vacant until 1985, when the county put it up for auction and one Miss Agatha Adams purchased it.
So she has no existing ties to the family that's obvious here.
Yeah, the closest tie that you can piece there is, in looking at it, it would seem perhaps she's related to the wife, to the widow.
Okay.
In some distant
In some
fashion.
way. Yeah, her name was Maria Adams Wallace.
George, once he kind of finishes the rounds, is going to go look for the Texan gentleman.
Yeah, you step back out to the front, kind of the front entryway, and one of the first things that you notice is your luggage has been stacked neatly up at the top of the stairs, the front porch stairs. And when you look out, both vehicles are missing.
I had a fucking feeling you were going to say that.
How nice of them to leave our stuff with us.
He's going to pull in his bag into the house and go back towards the rest of them in that kind of bar/display area and say, well, it seems we may be on our own.
Huh?
What?
What do you
Our
mean?
tour guide has since vacated.
What?
What about our things?
Yeah, they're outside.
What about the paperwork and, not leaving me here? I have been kidnapped. God damn it.
I think Erica's going to pull out her phone.
Yeah, I think
They don't
Any
work
signal?
here.
No signal.
No bars.
Wait, what about the driver?
You look for yourself, they're all gone.
Lynn has already started walking that direction.
I'm gonna stumble my way back out there as well. Like, the guy's gotta be here somewhere.
Yeah, you take a look outside. There are no vehicles sitting in the roundabout. And now you feel that wind begin to blow in a little harder, and the first pattering raindrops begin to fall thick and heavy from the sky.
Thank you for listening to our first episode of Campfire Club. For future updates on the project and many like it, follow Dungeon Rogues on Twitter. If you would like a copy of the game for yourself, you can find it on DriveThruRPG. The link will be in the show notes. If you're feeling especially generous, feel free to stop by Patreon too and throw a few dollars for access to a private Discord and new modules at least twice a month. Once again, thank you.